Hi, I'm Ayla, and I am not that kind of CEO. You won't find me in a fancy corner office, but rather in a quiet corner of my home. I followed a bold vision and built my life and business around it. That's how I ended up in France, where I'm raising two little girls, renovate our 500-year-old castle together with my husband, run a coaching business, and still have space to breathe. After a decade of helping women simplify their business to make room for what matters most, I created this show to help you do the same. Let's build your business around the life you love. Welcome to Not That Kind of CEO. Hello, my dear. Welcome back to Not That Kind of CEO. Today, we are going to talk about the power of making a good decision. And this is not an accidental subject. This is actually been one of those things that, I don't know, I'm normally not very consciously aware of. There have just been instances in my life lately where this specific subject has come up, and it has shown me time and again how important it is to make a good decision. We know that Stephen Covey, I actually don't know if it's Stephen or Stephen. Is Stephen even an English name? I don't know. Mr. Covey. Mr. Covey says, begin with the end in mind. It's one of the habits, one of the 7 habits of effective people. But he actually says something in relation to this, or that's basically the base of this, that's even smarter. And it says, decision precedes direction. And when you put it like that, for me, it's even much clearer. Like, begin with the end in mind. Yes, it's something what I teach as well. Like, start with having a vision on where you want to go. But when you put it, decision precedes direction, then it's actually very clear that the moment you make a decision, you're choosing your direction. Like, the direction is what follows when you make a decision. Yeah, I thought that was very clever. One of the things that it has come up with me is very random. It's in horseback riding, actually. I took up horseback riding again after 20 years of not touching a horse. After spending like basically my entire youth on horseback, I decided to take it up again because I always loved it and I just wanted to do it again. I am now nervous about it because my skills have gone a bit wobbly. But there's something else that I'm doing wrong as well, and it's bugging me to no end. Because when I am atop the horse, when I just go like in normal walking pace, it's fine. But whenever we go into a trot or a canter, so whenever we start to pick up speed, the horse goes wherever the fuck the horse wants to go. It's like I'm not in control of the horse anymore. And at first I thought this was just due to my lack of skill or my rusty skills, because I was just, for the love of God, trying to hold on to that horse and trying to stay on the horse instead of falling off, which I was so disappointed by because I used to be a really good horseback rider and now I'm just like some novice who's just clinging to her horse and just going, guys, I hope I don't fall. But, over time, the last few months, my skills have gotten unrusted. It's getting better. And still, whenever I'm in a trot or a canter, my horse goes wherever the fuck the horse wants to go. And that has been bugging me. And my teacher, my horseback riding teacher, she's very much sort of intuitive. Like, the sensitivity of horses is really something that in the past 20 years that I've not been around horses, it's really a field that has grown. And I love it. Like, the first few lessons, actually, we still do like the headgear of a horse. I'm just explaining this so everyone understands it. Like, the headgear of a horse normally has a piece that goes into the mouth, and then the reins are attached to that bit that goes into the mouth. And that's how you steer a horse. But we have actually been practicing a lot with sort of steering with the mind, where you are trying to get in touch with the horse, but you're not actually pulling on it. So we have headgear that doesn't have that piece that goes into the mouth. It's just attached to the nose. So you don't pull the horse's mouth that hard. I love this more sensitive way of horseback riding. And the last time I did it, I actually had a horse with a headgear that has the mouth bit again. And I was so scared that I was going to pull his mouth too hard that I hardly did anything. That's where the decision part comes back in again. Because whenever I take up speed, I know the general direction I'm going. Like I want to go to that end of the horseback riding ring. I don't know these words in English. Horseback riding ring is what we're going with. I know I want to go like to the right end of it, but I don't know the exact path that I want to take. And so my horse is just thinking, oh, we're going to go somewhere there, and it's going. So that's been an issue. And I realized that whenever I make a decision where I want to go, my whole body answers to my own decision. And I start to make micro movements that my horse can feel. And if you're now going micro movements, like a horse can feel it when a fly lands on his back, it will feel your micro decisions. So whenever I make a decision, like a clear decision on that's exactly where I want to go, my horse actually starts to go there because of the decision, and the decision precedes the direction. So that's, I thought, was really cool. There's another thing. I heard an podcast episode made by Carrie Green a while back on how to become a big deal or something. It was really fun. It's a really fun episode to listen to. And one thing she said was, my life started to change when I decided I wanted to be a big deal. And I thought that was so very significant because, as I said, one of the first things that you teach when you get into my world is having a clear vision, because otherwise you don't know where you're going. Like, if you want to have a balanced life, one of the things you have is a vision. And then you decide to actually take action on that vision. So that's what Carrie did. She had this vision of being a big deal. And then she said, my life started to change when I decided I wanted to be a big deal. So she's taking it out of the vision part, and she's actually making a conscious decision of, yes, I really want to be where my vision says I want to go. And then the action started to follow in her life. And now she is a big deal. So, it's clearly working. And the last part where it came out for me was actually very recently. There is this event that I want to go to. It's called BBD Live. I am a student of James Wedmore. I am in his BBD program, which is for online entrepreneurs. And I am also being trained by him, like his coaching certification. I'm being trained as a stellar coach. And he yearly has a live event, which is called BBD, Business by Design Live. And it's taking place in Phoenix, Arizona in December. I live in France. Phoenix is a long way for me. Tickets to get there ain't cheap. And we have made some pretty significant investment into the castle this year, into renovations that we've been doing. So the money that we've had was allocated to these renovations, other financial priorities, which means that there isn't a lot left to spend on things that are just sort of nice to have, because I would really love to go to this event. Um, Last year when it happened, I actually stayed off the internet for like 3 days because it just made me sick to my stomach to see everyone who was there, because I wanted to go so badly. And then I said, you know what? Oh, next year I'm really going to be there. And now it's looking like I'm not going to be there again. And I was just so bummed out by this because I don't know. I think there's something there for me. I don't suffer a lot from fear of missing out. Like, I couldn't care less to what event anyone is going to. This event is pulling me. And so I basically I asked in the community of BBD, what do I do? Like, when the money is tied up somewhere else and I still want to go. I am still very new to being spiritual and manifesting, because I know there will be people listening now who are saying, you can manifest that. I love that idea, but I also have never manifested anything short term. So it's now mid October. This is the beginning of December. I don't know how to sort of manifest something that's so close by. And I was just going back and forth between, like, I want to honor like my future self, because apparently there's something there for me that I really want to go to this. And then there's like my current self who's saying, "Meh, your money is tied up in other ways." And I was just asking, how do you handle this push and pull? And then James himself actually said to me, the way to go for it is to make a decision. You decide that you want to be there, and the how of actually getting there is something you let go of. And that just blew my mind because this has been a struggle all my life. Like in high school, I nearly failed my math class because in math you have all these formulas that you have to fill in and then the answer comes out. And I just kept asking my teacher, why? Like, why do I fill it in this way, and why does it have to be x times 2, and why is it not y times 2, and why and how and how and why? One day he took his, like, teachers have these really big rulers that they use to draw on the board, and he took this big ass ruler and he smacked it down on my desk, and he just said, "You need to fucking stop asking why and how. Just fill in the fucking formula and go with the answer." And I just sat there going, okay, apparently this is bothering him. And apparently I still do it like a good 25 years later. I want to know how. I want to know how I'm going to get there. I I can just make a decision and then let the outcome go. Like, how will I get to Phoenix, Arizona if I'm not buying a ticket myself? Like, how is this going to happen? But the fun thing is, I did it. I said, I'm going to be there. I blocked the dates in my calendar. I told my husband I'm going to Phoenix in December. I ordered a t-shirt to wear to the event. Like, I'm acting as if this is happening. I made the decision that I'm going to be there, and I'm letting the how just fly, rolling with the uncomfortableness of not knowing how it's going to come in. Um, and that's like the whole manifesting thing is a discussion for another day. And I'm probably not the person you should have that discussion with. But what I did notice is something else, which is I want to be there with good results, like with better results than I have right now, which means that the last few days, I've been so incredibly productive. I've been doing so much work that's actually getting me results. Like I'm being out there, I'm coming up with content as if I'm just pulling it out of my ass. Like it's normally I really have to sit with, okay, I'm going to content create. Okay, I'm going to think about the person that I want to serve and how I'm going to help her and sort of really get into the zone. And now I'm just coming up with it. Like I'm so in touch with the person who I want to help that the rest is just flowing. And that's all because I'm envisioning meeting people at this event that I'm then going to tell what I do, who I'm helping, how I'm helping them, etc. And because I'm just thinking about that, being in that state of mind is making me so in touch with the rest that it's just flowing out of me. And that's awesome. Conclusion, like that's awesome. The fact that I made a decision on literally where I want to go is helping me take action. And that's why I wanted to, like, this was the third thing that popped into my life about making decisions, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do a podcast episode about it because it three times the charm. If you have a vague direction, you're gonna have vague results. Look at me on the horseback, vague direction and vague results. And when you have a clear direction, you get aligned actions. Like you can't aligned actions if you haven't decided on what you're working towards in a very specific way, and the decision that this is what you want. Doesn't matter how you're going to get it, it's what you want. And so you're going to work towards it. When you are stuck in indecision, you're stuck. You can work, you can do work, but where is it getting you? Like you can pump out a lot of content, but is it actually getting you where you want to go? Or is it just noise? Indecision is being stuck. Making a decision is making you move. Making you move is giving you clarity. Having clarity gives you power over what you're doing, how you're spending your time. Because when you have clarity, It's so much easier to set boundaries and to say no to things, which is basically the same as having a boundary, but you catch my drift, you know? It's just so much easier to see which tasks are priorities, what you really should be working on. And having that feeling is what gives you power. And having power is what gives you energy again to go back at it the next day. It's a whole snowball effect that you're doing. You don't need to have the how, you need to have the commitment to work towards the direction that you decided that you want to go. So, before I round this off, I want to leave you with a question, which is there an area in your life where you've been really comfortable in the maybe, putting these in air quotes, the maybe I want to go there, maybe I want to accomplish this, and wouldn't it be nice if I actually had, and oh, it would be so cool if, etc., etc. Because these areas of indecision are very often linked to areas of life where we are uncomfortable if they were to come true. Like, say you want to have 1 million followers on Instagram. When you have 1 million followers, you're very visible. You're also a bit vulnerable because, you know, the internet trolls are there. They're gonna find you. Like, that's just a given. It's not even a question, it's a given. So, if you want to have these followers, you also need to be okay with the fact that you're visible and vulnerable and you need to deal with these trolls in whatever way. Like, ignoring them is also dealing with, you know, that they're there. So, if that's something that you're struggling with, it's very likely that you're not making the decision, I want to have 1 million followers. It's very likely that you are thinking about it in ways of, oh, it would be so cool if I had 1 million followers. Because when I had 1 million followers, I could more easily sell my stuff online and blah, 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 blah. If only I had those 1 million followers. So if that's something that's coming up for you, like in whatever area, and you can feel this. Like, what's something you're thinking about in those terms? Like, wouldn't it be nice if? And see if you can actually make a decision. Not, would be so cool if I had 1 million followers. No, I am deciding that I will have 1 million followers on Instagram. You know, end of sentence. And then see what that decision gives you. And if you're just, you know, saying it out loud or thinking it in your head isn't really giving you a feeling, write it down. Tell it to someone, you know, make it, speak it into the world, and make it clear that this is the decision you've made. And then from there on, watch how you'll take action. It's really awesome. Okay, on that note, I'm gonna leave you and I will see you in the next episode. Thank you. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to Not That Kind of CEO. If this episode gave you clarity, encouragement, or just even a moment to breathe, I'd love it if you left a review. It helps more women like you find this show, and that means the world to me. And if you're ready to build a business that fits your life, you know where to find me. See you in the next episode.